Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel of Conscious History, where we will unveil the hidden truths of the past. When we think of warrior tribes, one of the first images that will come to mind are the Spartans, warriors for whom glory, discipline, honor, courage and not having fear meant everything. The Spartans were a battle tribe who lived and breathed fighting. Sparta's goal was training high-skilled soldiers who would fight and die for the glory of Sparta. This training was done through a training program called the Agoge, which was introduced by Spartan lawgiver Lycurgus. In this Spartan training, boys were brutally trained into becoming elite Spartan warriors, who knew no fear and were willing to face any challenge for the glory of Sparta. The Agoge was brutal. Spartan boys were forbidden to wear sandals. Walking barefoot everywhere would harden them. When a Spartan turned 16, they had to go on an expedition called Crypteia. They were thrust into the wilderness, armed with only a dagger, to see who would master the art of survival. To see who was mentally strong in hard situations. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Those individuals were granted a round shield called a harplan, a T-shaped Spartan helmet with a crest which stood for loyalty and courage, a short sword for close combat, and a 3-meter-long spear which was the main weapon used in the phalanx formation. Living in brotherhood, training, and eventually fighting for the glory of Sparta was the very essence of a warrior's life. This was no different from Sparta's King Agis III. King Agis III stands as a prime example of the outcome of Spartan training, a fearless, war-driven leader who would persist in battle until the very end for his soldiers. In this video, we're going to look how hardened the minds of the Spartans were when they challenged the one man who left an eternal mark on history, Alexander the Great, showcasing that the Spartans were born for battle, and fear did not exist in their lives. If you like our content, like and subscribe to our channel, and let's start an extraordinary journey, because this isn't just another history tale, this is Sparta. When we start our story, we want to showcase that for the Spartans, glory and honor meant everything. When King Philip II of Macedonia, Alexander's father, invaded Greece and submitted several key city-states, he founded the League of Corinth and turned his attention to Sparta. He sent a message to Sparta asking if he should come to Sparta as a friend or an enemy, to which the Spartans replied, neither. Surprised by this reaction, Philip sent another message saying when he and his army came south to Laconia, he'd burn Sparta to the ground. The Spartans replied with a single word, if. They were ready for all the war he had to bring. When Philip II was assassinated by his own bodyguard, he was succeeded by a man we all know, Alexander the Great. Alexander had to deal with his own power struggles within Macedonia, and once they were finished, he invaded Greece and burned the ancient city of Thebes. After this, he was ready to continue his father's plan, to go to war against the Persian Empire. Alexander the Great and his army of 40,000 men went to Asia Minor to fight the Persians in their own empire. After the Battle of Granicus in 334 BC, where Alexander triumphed, 300 of the finest sets of armor were stripped from the bodies of the Persian soldiers and shipped off to Athens. Here, they were dedicated to the Temple of Athena, and tradition demanded that they should be hung as trophies in the temple. Alexander sent with the armor a written message. Alexander, son of Philip and the Greeks, accept the Spartans. Sparta, just like the League of Corinth's decision, also refused to join Alexander in his war against Persia. Alexander showed with this message they did not need them in battle. For Spartans, their pride was everything, And this message, in combination with his history with King Philip II, this was King Agis III's breaking point. It fueled him with anger, knowing he had an army of brothers ready to die for glory. He would show Alexander this would be the last time Sparta was disrespected. He would do so by doing the unthinkable and clearly showing the Spartans knew no fear by challenging Alexander the Great. Because of the turbulent times in previous wars in Greece, financial means were limited. For that reason, Agis III went in 333 BC with a single trireme to the Persian commanders to request money and weapons for carrying on a hostile operation against Alexander in Greece. The Persians were so amazed about these fearless warriors that they agreed, even though they also had financial problems because of their own war in Persia. Alexander the Great won the Battle of Issus against the Persians. Spartan King Agis III, who was prepared for war in Greece, recruited the Greek mercenary survivors of the Battle of Issus, who had served in the Persian army, a force of 8,000 veterans, to show Alexander the Spartans were a force to be reckoned with. Conqueror, a celebrated warrior and companion of Alexander the Great, who was in command of the Peloponnese and the garrison of Corinth, had no idea what was coming for him. Conqueror was a veteran when it came to warfare, but he was used to fighting Athenians and mercenary troops, not the Spartans. These warriors were training their whole life to do one thing: fight in battle. During the battle, every move from the Spartans was orchestrated. Every javelin was thrown with precision. The phalanx formation felt indestructible, and every Spartan warrior felt like fighting a superhuman, slaying several Macedonian soldiers for each Spartan that died, and engaging in battle like it was their home. They moved as one. With each fallen comrade, their strength only grew stronger. The battlefield was a canvas where the Spartans painted their status in blood and valor, showing their enemy how disciplined they were through a lifetime of training. Each Spartan was a living embodiment of warfare, an opportunity to etch their name in the annals of Spartan history, from the moment they clashed shields to their javelin breaking or them dying. Being in battle was the highest point in their life, because they were doing it for the glory of Sparta. Agis III triumphed and crushed Conqueror in battle. After the Spartan victory and hearing their screams all over the battlefield, Agis III laid siege to Megalopolis. When Alexander heard of the victory of the Spartans, he sent out a much larger Macedonian force under leadership of Antipater, a fierce Macedonian general. Even though he was heavily in favor numbers-wise, even he had no idea what was coming for him. The final battle was fought at Megalopolis, where the fearless Spartan phalanx, who moved as one, quickly breached the Macedonian lines, showcasing the battlefield was the Spartans' home. But Agis and his men were heavily outnumbered, so they did what they were meant to do from the moment they were born: fight and die for the glory of Sparta. As a true leader, Agis tried to save as many of his brothers as he could. Agis fought gloriously and fell with many frontal wounds. As he was being carried by his soldiers back to Sparta, he found himself surrounded by the enemy. Despairing of his own life, he ordered the rest to make their escape with all speed and to save themselves for the service of their country. But he himself, armed and rising to his knees, defended himself, killing the final waves of enemies until a vital thrown javelin struck him in his heart. He died on the battlefield in honor of Sparta. After the battle, and probably traumatized by the fighting skills of the Spartans, Antipater did not participate in the peace negotiations. When Alexander heard of the bravery and honor of the Spartans and King Agis III, he was impressed by their warrior spirit. It impacted Alexander so much that the only demand in his peace agreement was that Sparta joined the League of Corinth, to which the Spartans agreed. This was the base foundation Spartan King Agis III laid out for everyone to witness. He didn't just rule, he lived and died as a true Spartan. His love for his brothers in arms was the fuel that ignited the fire among the Spartans. He stood shoulder to shoulder with his fellow warriors, showcasing a bond that transcends friendship. Every ounce of sweat and pain shed during the agoge prepared them for this moment in battle. He showed that respect was earned, not given for free, and because of that, he gave us a warrior legacy that would leave a mark until eternity. Did you know of King Agis III? What did you think of the Spartan training program called the agoge? And do you think the Spartans are the most badass warriors in history? Leave me your answers below in the comments. And if you love Sparta, like and subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to see more in-depth history videos. We love making in-depth history videos. See you next time at Conscious History.